Hello, my amazing Algebra Half students. This is Mrs. A, and I love math. Now, today we're doing lesson 43, parentheses and division in order of operations. Now the fun begins, because when we start working with parentheses, all kinds of fun things happen in mathematics, because parentheses are there for us to specifically go to that part first. And the very first thing we're going to learn about is some different ways to write multiplication. So we can write multiplication with the X sign. We can write multiplication with the dot. We can write multiplication using parentheses, or just one set of parentheses, or one set of parentheses in the front. All of these are valid ways to say 4 times 5, and they all equal 20. So now what we're going to do is see how we can use parentheses in order of operation. Also makes it nice. Order of operations problems. So when we're doing order of operation, this is a minus. Let me put this in here. Okay, this is the first example in your section. And parentheses, when we're talking about order of operations, we have a little saying that we can say, and it is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. Okay, so we're just going to learn a little bit about this today, but we're going to keep on coming back to PEMDAS because it is very, very important in your mathematics. So P stands for parentheses, but not only parentheses, brackets, braces, absolute value signs, any kind of grouping symbol. We're always going to look for any kind of grouping symbol. We're going to attack that first in our math expression. E stands for expressions. And I mean, not expressions, exponents. Exponents are things like 2 cubed. This is an exponent. It is a power, and exponents and roots come second in the order of operations. And we'll deal with that later. We haven't gotten to that yet, but that's all right. I'm just kind of giving you an overview right now. Then multiplication and division are the M and the D. Addition and subtraction are the A and the S. Okay, now we've already talked about these. We know a lot about multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Today we're going to be working on this right here and how to move straight to the parentheses. When we attack parentheses, we always do them left to right and inside out. Sometimes you will even have parentheses stacked inside of other parentheses or braces or brackets. And that's when it really gets to be a lot of fun. So let's look at this expression. I'll take this away so we can see our expression again. Okay, so we're going to attack the parentheses first, and then we have no exponent, so we're going to move, after we do the parentheses, to multiplication and division. Multiplication and division are at the same level in our order of operations. And then lastly, addition and subtraction are at the last level together. And we do everything from left to right within its order. Okay, so we're going to start with our parentheses. I'm going to go straight to this parenthesis right here, and it is 3 times 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to put 15, and I'm going to leave it in parentheses because it's joined to a 2. And if I just took it out of parentheses, it would look like 152, and it's not 152. It's 15 times 2, and I'm going to do that to keep it separate. So this one I'm just going to bring down, and then I'm going to come over here to this parenthesis, and 15 minus 3 is 12. And I have taken care of my parentheses. So now I go through, there's no exponents, there's no roots, so I don't need to do anything there. I'm going to go straight to multiplication. So I'm going to skip over the 4. I'm going to go straight here. 15 times 2 is 30. So I'm going to have 4 plus 30, moving left to right. 2 times 12 is 24. And then lastly, I add all of this together. Okay, and remember, addition is commutative. That means I don't have to do it left to right, but I'm going to do it left to right in this case anyway. So 4 plus 30 is 34, and 34 plus 24 is 58. Okay, and that is the correct answer. I'm going to let you see all of the work, and we will come back with the second example. Okay, this is example 2, and again, we're going to go zipping straight to our parentheses. So we'll skip over the 8 and we'll do 20 minus 3. 20 minus 3 is 17. So we will write 8 times 17, and we will come back and do that in a minute. Minus, now we have another parenthesis. 17 take away 11 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. So we put down the 9. We bring down the 2 plus 5. Okay, there are no exponents or roots, so we go straight to multiplication and division. We have a multiplication right in front. Moving left to right, we multiply 17 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. That's going to be 136. Minus 9 times 2 is 18 plus 5. Okay, so now I'm going to do these left to right because I have a minus and subtraction is not commutative. So we will start at the left and we will subtract. 136 minus 18 is 118. And then I add the 5 and I get 123. And 123 is the correct answer. So there's your work on the second problem. So now we're going to come back with division in the order of operations. We haven't done division, but it comes right with multiplication. Okay, now your book is giving you a simplified version of the order of operations. They say simplify within the parentheses and then proceed from left to right doing the multiplications and the divisions in the order that they are encountered. Then proceed from left to right doing the additions and the subtractions in the order they are encountered. So everything is correct. They are just giving you a simplified version right here, but between steps 1 and 2 will be the exponent phase, which you're not quite ready for yet. When they get ready to introduce it to you, they will slide it right in there after simplified parentheses. They'll put the exponents and the roots. But right now you're not quite ready for that. So we're going to follow this reduced order. We're going to do this third example in your book. And notice that we're going left to right and we have a plus sign. But plus signs are pretty low on the totem pole. So we're going to skip down and look for the highest on the totem pole. And that is our parenthesis. So we're going to say 5 minus 2 is 3. And I'm just going to write a 3 right there instead of rewrite the whole thing. Okay, so every time I rewrite a problem, I have to be very careful. I could make errors, so I don't rewrite them over and over and over. But I do them in the correct order. So now let's get a different colored marker for the next step that we're proceeding through. So we've done our parentheses, and now we're going to go through with division. Notice that we have a division and a multiplication. There's a division. There's a multiplication, and there's a multiplication. Okay, so we're going to do those before we start to worry about the plus and the minus signs. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 times 3 is 6. And now we have to go through and put our signs. So we have a 5 plus 6 plus 12 minus 6. Okay, so now I'm going to go left to right. 5 plus 6 is 11. And 11 plus 12 is 23. And 23 minus 6 is 17. And my final answer is 17. And I got it right. Now, your teacher may decide that you need to rewrite this every time, and that's fine. You do it exactly the way your teacher wants you to do it, okay? But if your teacher says it's okay for you to simplify in this way, that's fine too. The biggest thing is that you show your work and that you are following your order of operations. Okay, so now we get to work on some conversion of units of area. And when we're converting units of area, we need 2 unit multipliers, because when we're talking about area, we're talking about square units to start with. So it says use 2 unit multipliers to convert 4 square feet to square inches. Okay, so we started with square feet, and we're going to need to use 2 unit multipliers to get the right answer. So here we go. 4 square feet to 4 is equal to 4 feet squared. And so now we're going to move from 4 feet squared to inches squared. I forgot the 2 there. So we're going to have to, because area is always square units. So feet squared to inches squared, we need 2 units to take care of each one of the feet. So 4 feet squared means 4 feet times feet. So we're going to take the feet times feet, and to get rid of the feet times feet, we're going to have to put feet in the bottom of the conversion unit twice. So we're going to make this true. 12 inches is 1 foot. 12 inches is 1 foot. Okay, now remember, unit multipliers are equal to 1. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So something over itself is 1. Very good. So here we have 4 feet squared. Now notice what happens. The feet and the feet cancel, but this foot only cancels one of those feet, and then this foot cancels the other one. So now my feet squared are gone, and now my answer has inches times inches, or inches squared. So now to find the answer, I do 4 times 144, because 12 times 12 is 144, and 4 times 144 is 576 square inches. So there's your work for that one. The next example says we're going to convert 4 meters squared to centimeters squared. We always have to have square units. So 4 meters squared, and I want to get to centimeters squared. Therefore, I need centimeters on the top. I'm trying to get rid of meters times meters, so I need meters and meters on the bottom. Well, we know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters, and 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So now when I multiply, the meters squared and the meters cancel out, and I'm left with centimeters times centimeters, or square centimeters. So I get my units right, and then I go back. 4 times 100 times 100. Well, 100 times 100 has 4 zeros, doesn't it? So 4 with 4 zeros. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's read it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, comma. So that's going to be 40,000 centimeters squared. And there's the work for that one. Okay, we have one more example, and then we're going to go do some practice problems. Convert 400 square inches to square feet. So now we're going from square inches to square feet. So we want to get rid of inches squared, and we want to replace it with feet squared. That means we want feet on the top. So feet and feet. And we want inches on the bottom. So inches and inches. Okay, so now we have to make this a true statement. We know that 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay, so now we have the inches squared cancels the inches and the inches that are on the bottom. Feet times feet gives me my feet squared. So all of my units are going to work. And then we've got 400 times 1 times 1 is 400 divided by 12, and then divided by 12 again. So don't we have 400 divided by 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, so when we do that math, we're going to get, you know what? I love this about the Saxon book. They let you leave it like this. Okay, so you can leave it 400 over 144 feet squared, or they even let you leave it 400 over 12 times 12. That's pretty easy, isn't it? They put it in parentheses, but they let you leave it 400 over 12 times 12 because the Saxon book is more interested in you knowing how to perform the operation than you actually having to do all that long division. So we get to leave it like that, and I think that's a lot of fun. And now we're going to go do our practice problems. Okay, so here are our practice problems. So I want you to copy them on the board and pause your video. Okay, let's look at the first one. Remember, we jump over anything that's a plus or a minus, and we jump straight first to the parentheses. We have one parenthesis here. So let me get a little bit different color here, and then we will do this one in blue. Okay, so we're going to have 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay, so I'm not going to copy the whole thing down right now. I'm just going to do that little bit right there. And now we're going to go to the left to right. We're going to see a division problem. We're going to do that one, and then we're going to move on and see a multiplication problem and do that one. Because this one, remember, is a 3 times a 2, and that's the multiplication. So first we will do our division, and I'm going to copy this down. 4 plus 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then minus 3 times 2 is 6. So this is my simplified equation. 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 take away 6 is 3. So 3 should be the correct answer. So let's do this one. This is B, and we are going to jump all the way over here to our parenthesis. 3 times 2 is 6. So now we've got a 10 times 6 is 60 right here. And over here we have a 2 times 6 is 12. Let's put everything on here. 5 plus 60 minus 12 minus 2. Well, that's a long one, isn't it? 5 plus 60 is 65. Minus 12 is 53. 53 take away 2 is 51. Okay, so that should be correct. 65 take away 12 is 53. Take away 2 is 51. And that is your first 2 examples or practices. Hopefully you got them right. Okay, here are our last 2 practice problems. We have 500 square inches that we're changing to square feet, and 2,000 square centimeters that we're changing to square meters. So pause your video. Okay, let's see. Remember, every time we're doing square units to square units, we must use 2 unit multipliers. So we have square inches. We're trying to get rid of square inches. So we're going to have inches and inches on the denominator of these unit conversions or unit multipliers. And then we're trying to get 2 feet. So we're going to have feet times feet up on top. Now we put in what's going to make this a true unit conversion. Remember, it has to equal 1. So 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay, so remember, the Saxon does not make you do the math. You're going to write what is our final answer. 500 is on the top. The 1 and the 1 aren't going to do anything. The inches are going to cancel the inches. We're going to end up with feet squared, but 1 times 1 doesn't add anything. We have 12 and 12 on the bottom. So we would write 500 divided by 12 times 12. And that's going to be feet squared. Okay, so I'll write that a little bigger. Okay, so here was the work. And there's the answer. They let you leave it just like that. That's pretty handy, isn't it? Okay, let's look at the next one. So we've got 2,000 square centimeters that we're going to change to square meters. So we're going to have here, we have centimeters squared to meters squared. So we want to get rid of centimeters because it's over here, but we want to get meters. So we're going to put meters and meters on the top. Centimeters we want to get rid of because we don't want that in our answer. Now we have to make this a true unit multiplier. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Okay, so now we have what? 100 and 100 are just going to change the decimal place. So we should have 2,000 on the top and 100 times 100 on the bottom. And the centimeters cancel the centimeters, and the meters cancel, or the meters become meters squared up top. They don't cancel. They become meters squared. Sorry about that. So 2,000 over 1 with 4 zeros. So let's write that down. Okay, so now we would not leave the answer like that. I wouldn't leave the answer like that because that one's too easy to do. Because remember, this was 100 times 100 down here, and 100 times 100 is pretty easy. I wouldn't leave it in parentheses. But remember, with zeros, we can divide the top and the bottom by tens until we get rid of every zero except for 2 over 10, and 2 over 10 is 0.2. So we would have 0.2 meters squared. And I would not leave that one because that one is just too easy to do. So 2/10 is 1/5, and 1/5 is 0.2 meters squared. And it would be okay to leave it as 1/5 meters squared too, because 2/10 becomes 1/5. That would be all right. So 1/5 or 0.2 meters squared. And we are done with lesson 43. And this is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day.